In Bethlehem Hill, your task is to survive the night among a small town that has been taken over by dark forces, mainly with vampires, with the main character being a young woman going to visit her mother as she is fearful that something might have happened to her, only to quickly realise that things aren't what they seem in the town that she grew up in. This is an interesting game that takes a lot of inspiration from classic survival horror games, more predominantly with the old Resident Evil games from the PS1, that uses tank controls and fixed camera angles, with a variety of different puzzles and elements to explore in order to gain access to new environments, where you will acquire different items from weapons that you will need, and health items, as it will be tricky to take down the many enemies that you face. But even once you've used your weapons, they won't stay down, as temporarily you'll only have a limited time in order to take them out altogether, which you will need to do by using a stake through the heart, which is the only way to finish them off. Now, the game is currently in active development, and the developer has their own YouTube channel, which they are documenting the process of them working on the game through a variety of different videos, and the game has gone through many different stages from different concepts leading up to the current format. There'll be a link to that channel in the description so that you can go and check out the videos and see for yourself how the developer is putting everything together in the game. The one thing I will say is, graphics wise, especially in the environments, are actually very good. The characters, because they're reflective of classic PS1 style visuals, they are reflective of that era, and it does do a good job on what it's trying to do. There's just something really interesting about this old classic style that really appeals, that's almost timeless, that still stands out even today, as the survival horror genre just seems to be the perfect element for this visual style. It really captures that nostalgia, tension and fear like no other, it really does. But as the game is still currently in development, there are certain limitations and obviously bugs that you'll find, and the fact is that it is limited to the control system, as currently, as of this prototype here, and even from my own experience playing it, you can only really play the game using the keyboard and mouse, which works fine, but it is very cumbersome and very fiddly, and you need to have quick reflexes, which using the keyboard and mouse for this style isn't always the best way to play. Now, because it is in development, I'm sure at some point there will be controller support added, and I hope that there does be, because it will make it a more well-rounded experience, because it can be a struggle at different areas to try and figure out what to do, and especially trying to react with the button presses when you're trying to deal with enemies or multiple enemies, as it isn't easy. Ammo is scarce, and health items are even more scarce and harder to find, so you really do have to manage your resources here. And even when you get to near the end, among the final encounter, it's tough, because the last enemy that you face is very, very tricky to put down, and they will wipe you out with only a couple of hits, so you just have to be mindful. But it's an interesting concept, a really cool throwback to classic survival horror titles. The atmosphere and abundance is aplenty here. If anything, it's definitely one of the most atmospheric style games of this type, inspired by old games that I've seen in quite a while, with a really cool use of environments, with it being set in a small rural town with fog, darkness, rain, wind. It just has all of those classic elements to make horror very interesting, and it will be very cool to see where this can go next. So I will be keeping an eye out on the YouTube channel to see future updates of the game. But I enjoyed my playthrough of this, and I'm sure you will too. And like I said, if you're a fan of classic survival survival horror games and you want to experience more of what these indie experiences have to offer, this is another one that you should check out. And this is one of loads of different types of games of this style that are starting to reappear in recent times, that have been made from indie developers, that are definitely worth exploring, as there are so many of them out there. But if you want to find out more about these upcoming games, then you should check out this next video here on screen.